Welcome to the Confident Motherhood Podcast. I'm your host, Anne, mama of two, holistic pregnancy and pediatric sleep consultant, and the founder of Empowered Decisions. In our seasons together, I'm here to help you step into your inner confidence from pregnancy to motherhood. Whether you are preparing to meet your baby or integrating into new mom life, this is a safe space with education and support for your journey. Join me as we raise the vibe of our motherhood collective. Welcome back to the Confident Motherhood Podcast. I'm Anne, a holistic pregnancy and infant and toddler sleep coach, and your podcast host today. And today's topic is one of those topics that really forces us to go within and ask ourselves the tough questions. Is being an exhausted mom holding you back? Now, I have a really cool job. I was once an exhausted mom navigating new mom life. And I went through a holistic sleep coaching process to get my son sleeping at 4 months old. And he's going to be 8 this summer. And I have been able to experience not only what parenting a rested child looks like and feels like, but I've also been able to navigate mom life rested. Now, I think if I'm keeping it honest, right? Like mom life is exhausting. Like it's a taxing job. And I joke around sometimes. I've heard that saying that, taking care of kids isn't hard. Trying to do literally anything else while taking care of kids, that's what's hard. So mom life, parent life in general is hard, but it is even harder and pushes you to the max of your mental and physical, spiritual, emotional capacity when you are not rested, when you are constantly in that state of sleep deprivation and overtiredness and exhaustion. And I have a cool job in the sense that not only do I get the mom life that I always desired, like being able to be with my kids and not kind of it being on the inverse where somebody else basically owns me and I'm like always starving and craving for like this extra time that I can get with my kids. So I'm thankful that I'm in a position and a job that I get to do that. But what makes my job the most cool, if you will, is that I get to help other moms become confident and rested and be able to experience what I've experienced for the past 8 years, which is really believing in and trusting and having confidence in your child's sleep. Because when your child's rested, you are rested. And almost every single time I am on an initial sleep coaching explore call with a family, and they're starting to tell me kind of why they reached out and the struggles that they're having, whether it's like their baby's fighting bedtime or they're dealing with lots of night wakings, they can't figure out daytime, their baby's stuck in short naps, you name it, laundry list of things. It's always like, is this going to get better? Like, this can't be it for me. My child is waking up fussy and they're tired and I don't have any time for myself and my partner and I, my husband and I, we're just wanting more. We're wanting different for ourselves. Or if mom's returning back to work or, one parent is back to work and feeling like they're exhausted at their job and they're not performing the way that they want to be performing, there is a toll that exhaustion has on your entire life. I even know if I have one random night of not so great sleep, I am not my best self the next day. I am a little bit more on edge. I don't have as much patience. I don't typically have that drive to really care for myself. I almost feel like a little bit lazier. I'm like, oh, I'll just eat whatever. And you're just kind of going through the motions. But when you are rested, you get to perform and be your optimal self. And when you're able to perform and pour into yourself, you're then able to pour into your children, pour into your relationship, pour into your career, pour into your family, pour into whatever it is that matters to you. And the opposite of that, when it goes on weeks, months, years, is incredibly hard. And, there is a lot of when it comes to sleep training and sleep coaching of, this idea that it's still something terrible and baby torture and whatever, right? Like Cry Down Ferber have been around for a really long time. And still to this day, even though I've been in the game 8 years, sleep coaching with families, somewhere between 600 and 700 families at this point have I supported. There's still the stigma, that sleep training has this negative connotation. So I'll hear and see a lot on social media, well, what if this? And no, I don't want that. And I always challenge back to what if it does work? What if it's not this scary thing that you think it is? What if you can find a coach and an approach that aligns with how you feel as a mom, that aligns with your parenting style? What if you could be rested? What if your baby could sleep? Like we always worry about kind of like what's on the front end of this, and we stay stuck. We stay letting it hold us back from the mom life that we want to experience, whatever it is that we want to pursue. Because I'm going to be so honest with you right now. I would not have been able to start a completely side career. I was in corporate America, and I have another episode about that. But I was like in corporate world and then dropped out after having my son about a year later and pursued sleep coaching. I then have expanded my business. I've gone to do so many other things that I craved doing, that I desired doing, that I had the inspiration to do because I felt so confident in my home base. I knew like my children are on their schedules, they're rested, I can plan into this. Like when you are at the liberty of not knowing when bedtime is, not knowing how many wakes there's going to be, not knowing if that nap's going to happen, not knowing if you can pass your baby off to grandma or daycare and they're going to get good rest, when everything is kind of up in the air and you're just surviving young baby, young toddlerhood life, young childhood life, it's really hard. And I would say to each his own. My breaking point, I knew at approaching 4 months with my first son, that life was not sustainable for me. That made me so anxious and worried. I'm like, how am I going to go back to work? How is this going to happen? Nobody can watch my baby. My baby only needs me. And I was like, this is not workable for me. I needed the rest. I needed the structure. I needed to know that my child was going to get proper, healthy rest for all of his growth and development and all of the things. So we are all different. And that is okay. You have to choose what is sustainable for you. You have to decide, is being an exhausted mom holding me back from being the mom, the wife, the career person, whatever? You have to decide what toll that is taking on you. And you have to know that there are options for you to explore. And I get messages. I'm going to pull up my phone right now. I use an app called Voxer when I am working with my families, and I work with families for 2 weeks, but in both of my coaching packages, my Empowered Plus and Empowered Core, is they have access to me on Voxer. And Voxer's kind of like voice note, walkie-talkie. Like we stay really closely connected for 2 weeks. And 2 families right now specifically, one I just wrapped up with and one that is on program, they have twins and they're about 5 months right now. And on night 2, I was away for the weekend and I was communicating with them. And she said, "Hi, Anne, night number 2 update, both kids in their cribs and asleep in under 15 minutes again." And she said again, because on night 1, both twins put themselves to sleep in 15 minutes. They had been in their snooze. They had finally like gotten their little mini cribs. We're coaching them in separate rooms, mom and dad on duty. And you never really know what you're heading into on night 1, but I always set up families for success. So we are going to do every single thing possible to give those babies, to give your child a chance to put themselves to sleep in a great amount of time and use new sleep skills. And when I saw that on night 2, I'm like, I could just feel it in her message, like the relief, the excitement. And now her and her husband get to go have an evening to themselves. Then yesterday, so Monday morning, I'm going to omit the children's names. I'll just say twin A and twin B. But she said, "Great night last night again. Twin A slept all the way through until 6:30. Some minor wake-ups, no coaching needed. Twin B had a few wake-ups and one night feed. We woke her at 7 a.m. All 4 of us are happy and well rested." This is only on her 3rd night of coaching, and her husband are already feeling the impact of what it means to like have a rested child and have that confidence that you can head into that nap, you can head into bedtime and trust that your child is going to sleep. When I work with families in one-on-one containers, it's always for 2 weeks. And I tell families a lot, we make sleep magic happen in usually just a few days. Like families see wow transformations in just a few days. We work together for 2 weeks to ensure that we are laying a solid sleep foundation for your child. Because what's always more important for me as your coach is making sure that we have long-term success. Long-term success meaning continued rest for your child and your family, continued predictability and consistency with sleep through all of the things, teething and illness and travel and just development. Babies don't stop growing. So I think that when I get these messages from families, they're starting to see the light. They're starting to see that there is rest and confidence on the other side of the sleep struggles that they have been having. The other family that I recently just wrapped up with I'm very blessed that families will oftentimes write very kind things, but what's most important for me is that they're sharing their journey and their transformation of how they got from A to Z. And I want to share this mom's testimonial. And I want you to also see through the and so great piece of it. I am. Obviously, I love what I do. But what's more important here is the things that she shared. So let's talk about it. Our 9-month-old is finally sleeping, multiple exclamation points. We were at a breaking point after not sleeping well for months. Anne's 2-week coaching program was not only successful, it provided us with a deep understanding of how baby sleep works to ensure our baby's independent sleep skills will stick. That goes back to that foundation I'm talking about. Anne is a wealth of knowledge. And I always tell families, like, I take a very education first approach with my families because I know we're going to get your baby sleeping in 2 weeks. I have the confidence with that. But if I'm not pouring into you and giving you pediatric sleep education, you're not going to continue and be successful. So when she said Anne's a wealth of knowledge, that's where it's like, I'm not just giving yes, no answers, do this, do that, change this. It's why we're doing what we're doing, which is so important. Okay, going back to it. During the program, she provides real-time guidance, which is essential in the first few days of teaching your baby to sleep. A lot of her insights aren't covered in sleep training books. Trust me, I read them. And this one made me laugh because she also sent me a private message about this. Like, I read books and like what we did in this 2 weeks together, it's just not covered in the books. And the reason for that, not because there's not books out there with excellent information, is that it's not for your child. Sleep is so deeply unique, child by child, family by family, that we want to take a core, a foundation of what is age appropriate, what is developmentally appropriate, but then we need to customize it further. Going back, her approach is not cry it out or Ferber method. It is one that is centered around loving and supporting your baby as they learn to sleep. Our only regret is that we didn't work with Anne sooner. Thank you for giving us our life back. I cannot tell you how many families actually just get chills with the giving us our life back statement. I've had a lot of families, and also specifically dads, that have said to me over the years, thank you for giving me my wife back. Because again, it's not just the newborn phase. Oftentimes sleep struggles carry on 4, 6, 8, 10 into toddlerhood, where families, are kind of suffering in silence. And if that's you in any capacity and you're just perpetually exhausted, like, when is sleep going to get better? Oftentimes it doesn't just get better. We have to assess what's going on with your baby's sleep. And another assessment piece, I also do sleep audits. I call it a sleep insight audit, where I can help give you the insight and the like, hey, this is what's going on here. It never hurts to assess sleep, but when we assess, we can make changes in these different areas that affect your child's sleep to start heading sleep in a better direction. So we're not just left in this waiting game. But what she said here, Anne's approach is not cry it out or Ferber method. That is what is holding so many moms back. And it's to no fault of our own, because that's what's out there. That's the stigma. That's the stereotype. Like I said, 8 years later, it's still out there. They're like, oh, I do want to improve sleep for my child. And majority of moms would choose sleep improvement over not sleep improvement, but they don't want to do it at the cost of letting their baby cry it out. They don't want to do it at the cost of damaging a bond with their child. So I always promise families, I do no crying in vain, but I don't promise a no cry sleep method. Oftentimes, if you're teaching your baby 100% independent sleep skills, and they're not going to be relying on whatever it is, holding, feeding, rocking, bouncing, pacifier, snoo, whatever, then typically there's going to be some tears that come along with that because it's frustrating. It's a new skill. They haven't had to do it. Whether they haven't had to do it for 4 months or 8 months or 2 years, it's new for them. But you can still teach your child to sleep independently and support them. I always tell families that we're going to start off in the room at bedtime, being near and next to the crib, depending on your child's age. We can offer them support like verbal coaching and physical touch coaching. Like, that's again where it comes down to that customized layer, that customized piece, where teaching your child to sleep shouldn't mean that you have to leave them in a room and bounce. Be like, well, and I hear this a lot from pediatrician, like visits where parents will report back, oh, my pediatrician just told me to let them cry it out. They will figure it out. That I don't agree with. Sleep is holistic. We got to look at all the layers. We got to set them up for success, and you can still support your child and get them sleeping better. whether that is falling asleep easier at bedtime, learning to sleep through the night, being able to fall asleep for their naps, and not only sleep 30 to 40 minutes, but finally break through that short nap cycle and be able to sleep hour and a half, 2 hours. So we have proper rest in the daytime and we have proper rest in the nighttime. And when I work with families and they go through the program, and it's the text messages like these, and it's the, testimonials like these, it's being able to kind of zoom out and be like, hey, we were in this really tough place of struggle. I was an exhausted mom. I was struggling. I read all the things. I took in all the information. I was doing tips here and tricks here. And I felt like, what else could there be? I'm doing all the right things. That is where one-on-one customized sleep coaching takes you to the next level. It is for you, mom. It is for your family. It is for your baby. And I always have confidence that we are going to have success. And oftentimes I'll ask families, like, how do you just know that? Like, how do you know we're going to have success if like every baby is so different? Like, all I need is your commitment to the process. If you want it, and the want is the whys, the desires. I want my baby rested. I want my baby to have the skills. I want more consistency and predictability in their daytime. I want more time for myself. I want more time for me and my partner. Like, I want all these things. That's the why. So when you want it, and you're willing to jump into this coaching experience with me, and you're open and you're committed and you're there with me. I always say, like, whatever the baby's name is, we'll just pick a name like Devin. We're all team Devin, right? Like, that is what we're doing. And as long as we're all on that same team, we're going to have success. Like, I never have any doubts in that. But what is harder for you, mama, is if you're letting those minor pieces hold you back from being the mom that you want to be and living the mom life that you want to live. There are resources, there are help. You just have to find what is the right fit for you. Holistic sleep coaching really can be a game changer for your mom life in the immediate and long term. And I am truly here to help you. I have a mix of resources, which you can find on my website, empoweredwithann.com. I do the insight audits. I work one-on-one with families, and I have a free guide, 3 steps to stress-free sleep, where I break down understanding sleep pressure, understanding associations, and giving my 7-8 years of sleep coaching guidance when it comes to making awake windows work for your child, which helps prevent overtiredness. So definitely check out those resources. I hope that you liked today's episode and it inspired you in any capacity to just go within and decide what you want, identify the parts that are holding you back, and to really move forward to pursue the mom life that you want to live. Because I've been there and I've done it, and what's on the other side for you, mama, is beautiful. So until the next episode, lots of love. Whether you're a tired mom struggling with your little one's sleep, or an expecting mom looking for empowerment and advocacy as you prepare for birth, I'm here to show up for you with proven strategies and education to elevate your journey. You deserve to feel heard and given the tools to have success. Mama, you do not have to navigate your pregnancy or sleep struggles alone. Head over to empoweredwithann.com to discover how we can support you. Confidence, empowerment, and peace are just a click away.